I'm Laura Dern, and I play Kate in The Sun. The Sun, which is based on Florian Zeller's play, part of his trilogy of plays, which speak to mental health, is about a 16-year-old boy in pain and trying to understand what's happening to him and trying to find his way. And his father's relationship to him, and in a way his relationship to himself and to his own father. And I think it's a real look at the roles we play in parenting and how to support the unsupportable within an individual, and the heartbreak of not having the answers. I only knew the father, both the father having been performed on Broadway, which I knew, and then his adaptation of the film, which I fell in love with. And I had heard about the son and the mother, but had not seen or read them until he called and asked if I would read it, and then could we meet on Zoom, as you do, and talk about the film. I think life was my research on this film, because there is so much clinical depression and generalized anxiety amongst people of all ages, and teenagers are suffering, supposedly have the largest statistic of suffering in those areas since the pandemic even. But even before that, hearing so many stories of friends and, family in my own life as we try to navigate anxiety and deal with depression. And I think that's my greatest teacher in terms of how widespread and common these issues are. I think she feels she's predominantly single-parented, and now they are in crisis after this difficult divorce. Peter has moved on and met someone, got married, and has a new son. And there's so much heartbreak in it, and guilt in it, and confusion, and resentments. And this is where she begins in this story. I think probably the first time I read it like an audience member. But after the first time, and once you talk to the director and it's a commitment you make together, that's gone. And then you're just inside the discovery of this person, and in a way, the defender of the character. Not the character's choices, but the defender in terms of not looking at it with a moral compass, but looking at it with compassion and mess and confusion and all the things it is to be human. Because she breaks my heart and is so vulnerable and angry, rightfully. And after having, which we don't see preceding this movie, having sort of tried everything, she feels like she's run out of answers, and this is where her story begins. And in a way, Peter gets pulled in to start parenting on a deeper level than I think he's been involved in since the divorce. There are a number of wonderful actors in the film, but there are really 4 of us in the movie consistently telling the story. And, that's been an amazing process, because Vanessa, who I love, I didn't get to work with hardly at all. But the brief moments we shared together were amazing. But it's been such a close experience with Hugh and with Zen, and they are both the kindest people you'll ever meet, as is our director. So I feel very blessed. It's 3 kind of remarkable men to be working with, and genuine and compassionate and deeply honest about the subject matter. He's generous, he's incredibly clear about what he wants. He has both seen it in the writing, he's seen it in the productions he's done, and he's thrown all of that away to see something entirely new. And the balance of that, when you're dealing with adaptation, is gorgeous. And I would say the same for Christopher Hampton. You know, both of them are there meticulously listening and also wanting it to be collaborative and wanting to continue to discover more. So it feels very open and free and also disciplined and heartbreaking because the story is. So we all carry heavy hearts together each day, and Florian is so loving with that.